Hello and welcome. It is Sunday. No, it's not Sunday. We're going to have a look at a film called Any Given Sunday. No, it's Friday. So, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's lesson. Sorry, I'm 5 minutes late. I had a problem with my camera. I hope you're all having a good day. Irina F, good afternoon, and welcome to today's lesson. Evelina as well. Good afternoon. I hope you are doing well. So, buono pomeriggio. And privyet. Bruno, good afternoon too. Obrigado and konnichiwa. And Leondina, so buono pomeriggio to you too. Alida, buenos dias from where you are in the world. Sergio, obrigado. Boa tarde. Boa tarde. Good afternoon. So welcome to the lesson, everybody. If you're watching later, you can fast forward the first 2 minutes, not 5. I'm a little bit late today, so I'm going to go into things fairly quickly. But what I would say is, guys, best of to those of you who did the level test this week and passed, congratulations, well done. Another one to say is congratulations to one of our IELTS students who recently took the IELTS test and managed to get her IELTS target of 6.5. So another good result for AM language there, and an IELTS student, which is always great to hear. So, guys, today, Film English, we are going to dive in and look at 2 films, and we're going to look at 2 speeches in particular. This week, there's been a bit of a concentration on dividing between fluency and accuracy. Today, we're going to have a little look again at fluency. And what we're going to look at is we're going to try and do it in terms of a listening activity. And we're going to try and what we're looking for is the word is extract, which means take out. So we're going to try and extract meaning in terms of these famous film speeches. Both of them are delivered by Al Pacino. Now, for those of you who might know me, I am a fan of Al Pacino. Always like a movie with Al Pacino. And one of the reasons why I quite like Al Pacino is, okay, when you watch a film with Al Pacino, you know it's Al Pacino, but it's the way he speaks and the way he delivers his lines. He delivers them with feeling and emotion. Some actors, sometimes they try to say their lines and it just sounds like they are going through the process of just saying their lines. Al Pacino, an actor like him, he adds personality and character to lines. So we're going to look at the 2 fantastic speeches today, and we will have a look at meaning. So this is going to become a listening activity really today, and it's an excuse for me to do an Al Pacino impression now and again. So the first film is a film called Any Given Sunday. Now, this is a film that a lot of people might say is not actually that great. However, what makes the film is Al Pacino's speech. He is he's an American football coach in this film, and he has to motivate his team at halftime who are losing. And there's a lot of interesting bits of language he uses, and there's a lot of interesting meaning that we can get from it. So, like I said, guys, this is going to be a listening activity. So I'm going to we're going to do this in terms of a true or false exercise. and not given. And I will explain to you how this exercise works. So T is obviously for true. F is obviously for false. And not given is obviously not given. Now, not given is a very important element, and it's a hard one to know and to understand sometimes, or even hear. You see, the thing about true or false is that you will hear either confirmation of of something you read, or you will see a direct opposite in terms of what the sentence says. Not given simply means the answer has not been provided. We have to be careful when it comes to listening because this can be a difficult one. Sandra says, "Hi, Richard. Good afternoon." Good afternoon, Sandra. Guten Tag, and welcome to today's lesson. Now, I'm not going to. I'm going to give. I'm not going to give the whole thing because otherwise, um, it might go on for a little bit too long. But I'm going to go from an important point. An important point. Actually, no, it's not that long. I could go for the whole thing. So I'll go for the whole thing, potentially. But what I'll do is I'll just put up the most important things that we need to look at. Okay. Um, so here we go. A. Does Al Pacino compare life to a game of football? So that's the first sentence. Now, just to that's the first one. B, another one that we can think about. I'm going to do about four of these, I think, just to start off with. B, um, okay, life isn't about a game of inches. C, we'll go for and finally D. Okay, so now we've got four sentences. So I'm going to walk you through how to think about it. Okay. Now, if you think about this yesterday, I spoke about lexical sets and lexical chains. Okay. As now, this applies when you're looking at a true, false, or not given. You need to first read the words and you need to think about, okay, what are the words that are going to jump out and which words could be part of a lexical set or a lexical chain. So if we look at the first one, we've got life and football. So we can say that, okay, there's a strong possibility that I'm just going to go through A as an example that, okay, we've got life and football here. They are probably going to be part of a lexical set of some kind, okay, because that's what the focus is. So then we need to think of a chain, possible lexical chains that are going to agree with this statement or not agree with this sentence. And the lexical chain is going to come into terms of, okay, comparative language, such as if you hear, for instance, Al Pacino say that, let's say he says that playing football is not much different to life, not much different to life. You've got that type of language there, so that would confirm it. And then it depends on what other elements. Does he compare a passage of play or the ball, for example, which would be a lexical chain of the game football, to an aspect of life? Does he compare the field, which would be a lexical chain to the game, to some kind of part of life? So this is, again, it feeds into what we did yesterday with lexical sets, lexical chains. We've got to find the link, and that's all you need to think about. Can you hear the link? Now, what is a not given? I just want to be absolutely clear. So if we take A as an example, Al Pacino compares life to a game of football. He might be talking about life, he might be talking about football separately, and he might not do a direct comparison. For example, maybe it's implied, but if it's very weak, then we might end up saying, we're not so sure. I think a better example would be maybe if we looked at, actually, I'll create a third one just for the not given one. Okay. Um, he wants, okay, let's say this is the statement. He wants his team to score within the first 5 minutes. This would be a better one to do in terms of a not given. If you don't hear anything about his wanting his team to score in the first 5 minutes, that doesn't mean it's false, but that doesn't mean it's true. So that will be a not given. So he might say, for example, I want you guys to go out there and I want you to score as quickly as possible. If he says that, that does not mean that's within the first 5 minutes. So we can't say that's true. It doesn't mean it's false either. It's simply not given. And the trick about not given is think of the language. Was it specific enough to the sentence? So you've now all had a good chance to look at sentence A, B, C, and D. Okay? Does Al Pacino compare life to a game of football? Okay? That's A. B. Life isn't about a game of inches. C. The team are losing by 5 points. And D. The team have to play together if they want to win. So let's go forward. I'm going to read it out in my normal voice first, and then I might read some bits again just for fun in Al Pacino's voice. But I'm going to read the first one. And I'll read the whole thing as well. So listen very carefully. Let's see how we get on. So Al Pacino starts off by saying, I don't know what to say, really. 3 minutes to the biggest battle of our professional lives. All comes down to today. And either we heal as a team or we're going to crumble inch by inch, play by play, until we're finished. We're in hell right now, gentlemen. Believe me. And we can stay here, get the S kicked out of us, or we can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell 1 inch at a time. Now, I can't do it for you. I'm too old. I look around and I see these young faces and I think, I've made every wrong choice a middle-aged man can make. I've pissed away all my money, believe it or not. I chased off anyone who's ever loved me. And lately, I can't even stand the face I see in the mirror. You know, when you get old in life, things get taken away from you. That's a part of life. But you only learn that when you start losing stuff. You find out life's this game of inches. So is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, one half a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. One half second too slow, too fast, and you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second. On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us piece for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch because we know when we add up all those inches, that's going to make the difference between winning and losing, between living and dying. I'll tell you this, in any fight, it's the guy who's willing to die who's going to win that inch. And I know if I'm going to have any life anymore, it's because I'm willing to fight and die for that inch. Because that's what living is. There's 6 inches in the front of your face. Now, I can't make you do it. You've got to look at the guy next to you. Look into his eyes. Now I think you're going to see a guy who is willing to go that inch with you. You're going to see a guy who will sacrifice himself for this team because he knows when it comes down to it, you're going to do the same for him. That's a team, gentlemen. And either we heal now as a team or we will die as individuals. That's football, guys. That's all it is. Now, what are you going to do? So, that is the whole thing. I'm going to read key important lines now that will probably help you guys just a little bit in terms of answering the question. Okay, so I'm not going to read the whole thing again. I'm just going to read little important little bits. So the first thing I'm going to read is this. But you only learn that when you start losing stuff. You find out life's this game of inches. So is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. So that's the first one that I've read again, and that can help you with one of the answers. Now, let me give you, I'm just going to read another bit again that can help you with another type of answer. Listen very carefully. Where is it? Here we go. So, where is it? Yes. So you find out life's this game of inches. So is football. So I'm going to move on from that one because that's the one I just said. So here's the next bit of that, which can help you with another answer. The inches we need are everywhere around us. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second. On this team, we fight for that inch. So that will help you with another one of these answers. And let's go with the last one, which is, I'm going to repeat just the end bit. Now, I think you're going to see a guy who will go that inch with you. You're going to see a guy who will sacrifice himself for his team because he knows when it comes down to it, you're going to do the same for him. That's a team, gentlemen. And either we heal now as a team or we will die as individuals. So I've now read the most important ones again. So that should be able to tell you if A is true or false. Sergio has come in and said A is T, so A is true. Al Pacino compares life to a game of football. Okay, let's see if others agree. I'll just repeat those ones again, but I'm just going to do it in Al Pacino voice just in case you guys haven't. Okay, you're all coming out with your answers actually. So a leader says A is true, B is false, C is not given, and D is true, and E is not given. Leondina has E was just an extra one, but you are correct. E is not given. Leondina says A is true, B is false, C is not given, and D is true. So your answers, Leondina, are the same as the leaders. Sandra agrees with Sergio and Leondina and Alida that A is true. Sandra has the same answers as Alida and Leondina. Bruno thinks A is. Do you think A is true or false? So A is true. So let's go through it. A, you are saying, does Al Pacino compare life to a game of football? This is true, and we can confirm that because he literally says that. He says, you find out life's this game of inches. So is football. Because in either game, life for football, the margin for error is so small. So that's my Al Pacino impression. Hoo-ha. So yes, A is true. B, life isn't about a game of inches. Well, we know that is false because he says life's a game of inches. So we know that's false. C is not given. The team are losing by 5 points. That's correct. It's not given. He doesn't say anything about that. So we know that's true. Sorry, we know that's not given. And we know that D, the team have to play together if we want to win. Now that is true, and we know that is true. Richard Pacino. Maybe that should be my name. Well, we know D is true because of what he says at the end. You're gonna see a guy who will sacrifice himself for this team because he knows when it comes down to it, you're gonna do the same for him. That's a team, gentlemen. And either we're here now as a team or we'll die as individuals. So, well done, guys. You've all got that correct. 100%. Hoo-ha! We can all clap to that. So well done. And I'm pleased with that. I only gave you 4, but I'm really pleased that it worked out well because it is a long speech. Thank you very much, Sandra. So now we're going to move on to the next one, which is going to be Scent of a Beautiful Woman. Now, I don't know if you've seen it, but Scent of a Beautiful Woman is a great film. Scent of a Beautiful Woman. Al Pacino. Okay, Scent of a Beautiful Woman and the speech. So we'll have a little look at this to see how it goes. And just like last time, I'm going to put in like last time, I'm going to give you ideas, well, the sentences, what should I say, that you need to listen out for to see if they are true, false, or not given. So I'm going to just take a smaller bit because there's a bit of a dialogue here. I'm not sure if I could do the whole thing. And there's a bit of swearing, which I'm not really allowed to do. So I'll go from a specific place. So just to give you the idea, if you haven't seen it, this is a famous bit. Now, Al Pacino's character named Slade, he is a former. Now, former means in the past, okay? Former. In the past. Okay, so he is a former soldier. So it means in the past he was a soldier. But he was in an accident, he's now blind. And he stands up because he wants to defend the person who has looked after him and who saved his life. And yes, this is the one where he acts as a blind guy. Great film, and he's defending him. So, and the task is he's trying to defend this boy, really. So let's have a little look at the things we need to think about. Okay, I'm going to refer to the character as Slade because that's his name. So Slade agrees with the institution's decision. I remember that he danced the tango. Yes, he does dance the tango in the film. So this is the first sentence that we'll need to think about if it's true or false. Slade agrees with the institution's decision. Okay. B. Let's go with okay. Slade thinks it's better to have integrity rather than to be a rat. Now, I'll just explain the important thing here in terms of these two words. Integrity, what he means over here, if we use this, integrity means to stand for what you believe to be true. Let's go with that in this context. And rat in this context means someone who goes and someone who goes and um, puts other people in trouble. Let's go with that. Okay. Put it this way. I mean, there's a lot of ways that we can interpret the term rat. You've got a rat as in like someone who is basically a rat is someone you can't be trusted. I think that's the best way to put it. Rat can't be trusted. You hear it a lot in mafia movies as well. So that's B though, and that's the important thing. Slade thinks oh, I've just seen I've completely got that wrong for one moment. I'll just rewrite that. A traitor, yes. Kaya, welcome to the channel and thank you for joining us today. But yes, a rat is kind of like a traitor. I think that's the best way of putting it. Thinks I'll just post that again because I noticed there was a mistake. I think traitor is a good way of looking at it. Yes. C. He's saying we'll go to heaven. And D, we're going to say that what have I done over here? 1 second. Okay, so, and then finally, we're going to go with oh, this is a good term here, out of order. Out of order simply means it now usually if it's applied to something like a TV, it simply means doesn't work. But if you tell someone that they are out of order, it means they are wrong and behaving badly. You're out of order. So if you tell someone you're out of order, it does not mean they are not working. It means they're behaving badly, that they are wrong. and they need to change their behavior. So we've got a few new things there. Now, there are two people who play a part. Now, I'm going to, where there's a swear word, okay, I'm just going to put beep. I'm just going to say beep, okay? So if I say beep, it means I'm saying a bad word, okay? Because I'm not going to start saying F and S and all the rest of it, because there's a little bit of that. So I'm just going to say beep, beep, or beep, or beep, basically. So let's go for it. I'm going to go with, again, guys, just take a bit of time. Let's just go through it. So A, Slade agrees with the institution's decision. So again, we need to think, is that going to be true, false, or not given? B, Slade thinks it's better to have integrity rather than to be a rat. So it's better to stand for what you believe in than to be a traitor. And I think we can go with Kaya's definition. A traitor, let's go with rat as a traitor. I think that's a good way of describing simply what a rat is. C, the boy's soul will go to heaven. And D, Slade thinks the college is out of order. So they're behaving badly. Let's see, okay? So we've got Trask, I think his name is, Trask, and we've got Slade. Some important words here that will help us before we start. So one word that we need to think about here, words before we start. Snitch, okay? Snitch is another one for telling on your friends. We can say it's kind of related to a traitor in this case, because it's a traitorous act. But if you are a snitch, it's a noun. It means you're a rat. So snitch and a rat, they kind of go together in this context. Another word that we need to think about that's going to have an important play in this. Okay, important thing, I would say manhood. Manhood here, when we describe manhood, we're talking about the person being a man or a boy. A slight difference. So I mean, this is something that you can think about, like the manhood of a person. Is it one of how you would expect a grown man to behave, or is it one of how you would think a little boy would behave? So that's what we're talking about, the manhood. It's kind of like the self-respect that a person might have. So let's go for it. I'll say it in my normal voice to begin with, and then I'll just go and highlight some important words with in Al Pacino's voice. I will change my voice just a little bit for the other person, so I'll just go from a general American to my normal voice. So Trask will be in American, and Slade will be in my normal voice for now. So Trask says, "Mr. Sims, you are cover-up artist, and you are a liar." Now, cover-up artist. He's basically accusing him of being a liar. Okay, hiding the liar and hiding the truth. Okay, that's what a cover-up artist is. You see them all the time in politics. Okay, so I'll continue. So, Mr. Sims, you are a cover-up artist. Sorry, Mr. Sims, you are a cover-up artist, and you are a liar, but not a snitch. Excuse me? No, I don't think I will. Mr. Slade, this is such a crock of beep. Please watch your language, Mr. Slade. Please watch your language, Mr. Slade. You are in Baird School, not a barracks. Mr. Sims, I will give you one final opportunity to speak up. Mr. Sims doesn't want it. He doesn't need to be labeled. Still worthy of being a Baird man. What the hell is that? What is your motto here? Boys, inform on your classmates, save your hide. Save your hide, by the way, is another one of saving yourself or saving your ass if you're American. Anything short of that, we're going to burn you at the stake. Well, gentlemen, when the beep hits the fan, some guys run and some guys stay. Here's Charlie facing the fire, and there's George hiding in Big Daddy's pocket. And what are you going to do? You're going to reward George and destroy Charlie. Toss says, "Are you finished, Mr. Slade?" Slade replies, saying, "No, I'm just getting warmed up. I don't know who went to this place. William Howard Taft, William Jennings Bryan, William Tell, whoever. Their spirit is dead, if they ever had one. It's gone. You're building a rat ship here, a vessel for sea-going snitches. And if you think you're preparing these boys for manhood, you better think again. Because I say to you, you are killing the very spirit this institution proclaims it instills. If you proclaim something, it's what you say. Instills is what you put into another person. What a sham. Sham is another word for what a load of beep. What kind of show are you guys putting on here today? I mean, the only class in this act is sitting next to me. And I'm here to tell you this boy's soul is intact, meaning he has it. It's non-negotiable. You know how I know? Someone here, and I'm not going to say who, offered to buy it. Only Charlie here wasn't selling. Sir, you are out of order. Out of order! I'll show you out of order. You don't know what out of order is, Mr. Task. I'd show you, but I'm too old, I'm too tired, and I'm too beeping blind. If I were the man I was 5 years ago, I'd take a flamethrower to this place. Out of order. Who the hell you think you're talking to? I've been around, you know. There was a time I could see, and I have seen boys like these, younger than these, their arms torn out, their legs ripped off. But there isn't nothing like the sight of an amputated spirit. Amputated, cut off. There is no prosthetic for that. You think you're merely sending the splendid foot soldier back home to Oregon with his tail between his legs. But I say you're executing his soul. And why? Because he's not a birdman. So then Mr. Tux tells him to sit down, and he replies by saying, "I'm not finished. As I came in here, I heard those words, cradle of leadership. Well, when the bow breaks, the cradle will fall, and it has fallen. It has fallen. Makers of men, creators of leader. Be careful what kind of leaders you're producing here. I don't know if Charlie's silence here today is right or wrong. I'm not a judge or jury, but I can tell you this: he won't sell anybody out to buy his future, and that, my friends, is called integrity. That's called courage. Now that's the stuff leaders should be made of. Now I have come to the crossroads in my life. I always knew what the right path was. Without exception, I knew, but I never took it. You know why? It was too damn hard. Now here's Charlie. He's come to the crossroads. He has chosen a path. It's the right path. It's a path made of principle that leads to character. Let him continue on his journey. Now, I should say in American or Northern English, you would say path. I would say path in my normal voice. So let me now read out the most important things in that can help you answer the sentences here. So if we look at A, Slade agrees with the institution. If I were to pick out just a line that can help you, I would probably pick out this one over here. I'll just read this paragraph here that can help you answer number A. So Mr. Sims doesn't want it. He doesn't need to be labeled. Still worthy of being a bird man. What the hell is that? What is your motto here? Boys, inform on your classmates and save your hide. Anything short of that, we're gonna burn you at the stake. Well, gentlemen, when the beep hits the fan, some guys run and some guys stay. Here's Charlie facing the fire, and there's George hiding in Big Daddy's pocket. And what are you gonna do? You're gonna reward George and destroy Charlie. So that should give you an idea of what the answer is for A. Let's look at B. Thinks the college is out of order. I think the one that can simply say here is out of order. I'll show you out of order. You don't know what out of order is, Mr. Task. I'd show you, but I'm too old. I'm too tired. I'm too beeping blind. If I were the man I was 5 years ago, I'd take a flamethrower to this place. Out of order. Who the hell you think you're talking to? So that should help you with the answer for B. C, the boy's soul will go to heaven. To tell you about that one, I'm going to say, just repeat this one over here. Where is it? Oh, there we go. Here we go. Okay, so but I have seen boys like these, younger than these, the arms torn out, the legs ripped off, but there isn't nothing like the sight of an amputated spirit. There's no prosthetics for that. You think you're merely sending this splendid foot soldier back home to Oregon with his tail between his legs. But I say you are executing his soul. And why? Because he's not a birdman. Birdman, you hurt this boy, you're going to be bird bums, the lot of you. So that can give you an idea as to what the answer to that is. And finally, D, Slade thinks the college is out of order. I've done that one. B, and maybe I missed out B. He thinks that it's better to have integrity rather than the rat. Yeah, so I missed out B. So I'll just say B again, actually, to give you an idea. Actually, I've already given you the idea to that one. But I'll say it again anyway, if I can find the specific line. Yes, I'm not a judge or jury, but I can tell you this. He won't sell anybody out to buy his future. And that, my friends, is called integrity. That's called courage. Now, that's the stuff leaders should be made of. So that should have given you a good idea of what the answers might be. Sandra's come in with A, false, B, true, C, not given, and D, true. A leader has come out with A is false, B is true, C is false, D is true. Okay. So interesting stuff. All the one that I thought was going to be the one that's going to cause a lot of trouble is the one that I'm not going to say it just yet, but there's one, and it's the one that you guys are disagreeing on, which is the one I thought was going to be the harder one. Dennis, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining us today. And you've come out with A is false, B is true, C is true, D is true. And Leondina thinks A is false, B is true, C is false, and D is false. Okay, so all of you agree on all of them except C, except C. Now, some of you have said true, some of you have said false, and one of you has said not given. And we have to listen really carefully to that sentence. So let's look at the question first. The question, well, the sentence. The sentence for C is Slade thinks Slade says, well, this is the statement. The statement is the boy's soul will go to heaven. And he says, you think you're merely sending this splendid foot soldier back home to Oregon with his tail between his legs. But I say you are executing his soul. And why? Because he's not a birdman. Now, he's used the term executing his soul, which means to kill a person's soul. In this case, his spirit. Now, the C is a little bit of confusing. You might think, okay, the sentence is Slade thinks the boy's soul will go to heaven. Now we know that's not what he said. So the next thing is he saying that his soul, what's the opposite? And this is what we need to think about here. What's the opposite to heaven? Hell. So for this to be false, we need to see some indication of hell. Now, in that sentence, he says he's killing his soul, but he doesn't directly refer to the opposite of heaven, which would be hell. And therefore, he's just saying killing his soul. You could say, well, if the soul dies, is that the opposite to heaven? And you would say, therefore, would that be false? Not completely. So the answer for C here, the correct answer, if this were an exam, this would actually still come out as not given. It's a hard one because it's one of those ones where you would think you can overthink it a lot. But in this case, this would make up what you would call a classic not given answer, but a really annoying version of it. But the fact that was the only one that you guys struggled with today, I have to applaud you. Well done. Thank you very much. You all did really well. And I'm glad that you managed to keep up with my very sort of bad Al Pacino impression, along with reading the lines. But well done nonetheless. Now, we've run out of time, so we can't discuss the meaning. I think if I did this again, I think maybe we just pick one and then we discuss the meaning of the speech. I think that might be a better way to go. And the next time I do film English, I think I already have some things on the list that would make a good discussion point as well. So to everyone who participated in today's lesson, thank you so much, and well done everybody for taking part. Kaya, welcome to the channel, and thank you for participating. Alida says, thanks, Richard. Have a nice weekend. You too, Alida. Dennis, thank you very much for your contribution today. Leondina, you as well. Sandra, well done, and well done for getting the last one right. Leondina, you too. Arena F, you as well. Bruno Okada, Sergio, thank you as well. Evelina as well, thank you for tuning in and watching, and to everyone else who's watched. If you enjoyed today's lesson, make sure you like the video, subscribe if you're new, and share. And as always, guys, if you want to find out how you can have actual lessons at AM Language, click on the link below and go to our website. Thank you so much for watching. You too, Sandra, Thank you very much. Thank you, Leondina. Thank you, Arena F. Have a wonderful weekend, and thanks for the lesson. Thank you. Bruno Carter, thank you. Have a nice weekend. And Sandra, have a nice weekend as well. Thank you, everybody. See you next week, Monday, 4 o'clock, the usual time. And if you want to know what we're going to look at, check Monday late morning, and you'll see what the lessons for the week will be on. So thank you very much, everyone. Bye for now. Have a great weekend.